This evening, first up, a digital revolution in public services. The government prepares to roll out a nationwide appointment app that could finally cut long wait times at agencies like NIS. Will it change how Guyanese access services? Plus, cybercrime crackdown. A 34-year-old IT technician is sentenced to 2 years in jail and fined $2.5 million after stealing and posting his ex-girlfriend's private photos online. A clear message from the courts: digital abuse will not be tolerated. Also, a family in mourning. A 9-year-old boy from Kildonan has died nearly 2 weeks after a dispute with a teenage cousin turned violent. Relatives want answers as police launch a full investigation. Meanwhile, hope inside the Juvenile Holding Centre. Home Affairs Minister Oneidge Walrond visits the facility, meeting young offenders and outlining major reforms aimed at rehabilitation, education, and second chances. And overseas, Zelensky draws a hard line. Ukraine's president tells Sweden's parliament that any peace deal with Russia must strengthen his country, not weaken it. Those stories and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for November 25th, 2025. I am Baby Backus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the government is preparing to launch a new digital appointment app aimed at reducing long wait times and enhancing access to public services across Guyana. Minister of Public Services, Government Efficiency and Implementation, Zulfikar Ali, announced the initiative during an engagement in New Amsterdam, Region 6 on Friday. He said the app, now in its testing phase, will allow citizens to book appointments with any government agency, select preferred dates and times, and receive confirmation before they arrive. The initiative forms part of the President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali's broader push to digitalize public services and modernize government operations. Minister Ali noted that agencies such as the National Insurance Scheme are also set to be fully digitized within the next 8 months, allowing citizens to check contributions, apply for compliance, or access services directly from their phones. He added that the new digital systems, including a real-time project dashboard, will also enhance accountability in infrastructure projects, giving the President immediate oversight of progress. Minister Ali said the government remains committed to ensuring residents of Region 6 and all Guyanese benefit from more efficient, technology-driven public services. In other news, a 34-year-old IT technician, Jeremy Smith, was on Monday sentenced to 24 months in prison and fined $2.5 million after being found guilty of cybercrime offenses linked to the theft and online circulation of his ex-girlfriend's private photographs. Smith was charged in July of 2024 after the woman reported that he had accessed her phone and WhatsApp messages without permission, copied intimate photos, and later posted them on social media after she ended the relationship. During the trial, the victim told the court that Smith's harassment continued even after charges were filed, forcing her to make additional complaints. The court also heard that she had previously secured a restraining order against him due to ongoing threats. The conviction comes as the judiciary continues to crack down on emerging cyber offenses, with several similar cases currently before the courts. The case underscores the judiciary's firm stance against digital harassment and privacy violations, sending a clear message that those who misuse technology to intimidate or exploit others will face serious consequences. Moving on, a family dispute in Kildonan has turned tragic as a 9-year-old boy has died nearly 2 weeks after an alleged assault during an argument with his teenage cousin. A simple disagreement between two cousins in Kildonan village Quarantine, Berbice, has ended in tragedy, claiming the life of 9-year-old Levon Collins, a pupil of Kildonan Primary School. Levon died on Saturday at the New Amsterdam Hospital, nearly 2 weeks after he was allegedly attacked during an argument with his 15-year-old female cousin over a bicycle. According to relatives, the incident began on November 12th when Levon borrowed a bicycle with a loose chain from his own. While returning home, an argument reportedly broke out after the teen insisted on pushing the bicycle despite Levon's objection. Family members say the dispute escalated and the cousin allegedly shoved Levon, threw the bicycle at him, and continued to assault him while he was on the ground. Levon later complained of severe stomach pains and was taken first to the Port Morant Hospital and then to the New Amsterdam Hospital as his condition worsened. On Saturday, the child reportedly began vomiting blood and died moments later in his mother's arms. His family, devastated and demanding answers, says they still have not received a clear cause of death. Levon's grandfather, Compton Collins, says the uncertainty has left the family struggling for closure. His mother, Loretta Collins, expressed shock and grief, noting prior behavioral issues involving the teen cousin. Police have since launched an investigation into the incident. Thanks, Dale. Stick around when we return. Government moves to regularize a long-standing squatting area in Belvedere, and Walrond reaffirms government's commitment to rehabilitating young offenders.
From modern optical services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Minister of Home Affairs Oneidge Walrond on Monday reaffirmed the government's commitment to rehabilitating young offenders during an official visit to the Juvenile Holding Centre. Accompanied by Permanent Secretary Andre Ali, the minister met with staff and residents as part of an ongoing effort to strengthen youth-focused programs within the justice system. The visit provided insight into the psychosocial needs of juveniles in detention. Minister Walrond engaged directly with several youths, listening to their experiences and encouraging them to share their needs so the ministry can better support their development. She stressed that the government sees great potential in every child at the facility and remains committed to ensuring they receive hope, guidance, and high-quality care. We do not see bad children, we see young people with so much promise, Walrond told the residents, reassuring them that they are not alone and will be supported throughout their rehabilitation. Permanent Secretary Ali echoed this sentiment, emphasizing the ministry's responsibility to safeguard the welfare, safety, and education of every child. He encouraged the youths to remain positive, reminding them that their past does not define their future. The visit is part of the ministry's broader initiative to strengthen programs in education, vocational training, psychosocial support, and reintegration planning to help juveniles build successful lives beyond detention. In other news, families in Belvedere North, Region 6, are inching closer to securing legal land titles after Minister of Housing Colin Crowell announced that the government will regularize long-standing squatting areas in the community. The announcement came during a community engagement on Monday, offering long-awaited hope to residents, many of whom have lived in the old housing scheme for more than a decade without formal ownership. The area, first developed in 1997, included 35 swamp-classified lots that were never allocated, leading 20 families to settle there informally over the years. Minister Kroll confirmed that 35 surveyed lots have now been approved for residential use, with boundary marking scheduled to begin on November 20th, following the completion of a final design by surveyor Travis Fields. Once boundaries are piled, the final plans will be recorded, and the minister said he will return to the community to sign the agreements of sale. However, 9 households currently living directly under a power line reserve cannot be regularized due to safety concerns raised by the Ghana Power and Light Incorporated. Kroll assured that these families will be relocated and provided with suitable alternatives. The initiative is part of the ministry's broader effort to bring stability to informal settlements across Region 6, including ongoing work in Port Moran Block 6. For many Belvedere residents, the commitment marks a significant milestone, bringing long-desired stability, dignity, and the promise of finally owning the land they have called home for many years. Don't go away after the break. Inside Mexico's growing army of child cartel assassins, and Somalia's capital sees rising instability as security forces tighten citywide checks.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Right, the US imposed visa restriction on a Haitian official accused of supporting gangs. Mexican cartels recruit more children as hitmen. Zelensky insists any peace deal must strengthen Ukraine. And Mogadishu shows signs of recovery. We begin in Haiti. The United States has imposed visa restrictions on an unnamed Haitian government official accused of supporting gangs destabilizing the country. The U.S. State Department says the individual U.S. visa has been revoked under a provision targeting those whose actions threaten U.S. foreign policy. Washington urged progress towards stability and free elections in Haiti. Meanwhile, in North America, drug cartels in Mexico are recruiting a growing number of children to the criminal underworld where they're groomed to become hitmen. Al Jazeera John Holman reports.
A roadside chapel in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, to the Saint of Death. She offers protection and he needs it. He's 14 and a hitman for a criminal group in Juarez. Predator and prey. Guero, his nickname, first killed a year ago. Back then, he tells us, it hurt.
When I killed him, I carried that weight for about 2 weeks. I felt guilty. I kept thinking that something was going to happen to me because of what I'd done.
Now there have been too many to feel much. He works in a group with other children, carrying out kidnap and kill assignments that he calls missions.
We kidnap them for things they do, like being involved in the same business, stealing money, or not paying for drugs. We go after them to kill them.
We talked to multiple sources on both sides of the law. They all agree. There are now more children and adolescents involved in Mexico's cartels than ever before. In the last few years, the country's many criminal groups have realised just how useful they are. When the police detain minors, they tell us that they know that even if they get a conviction, they're going to be locked up for a much shorter time than an adult and able to get out and rejoin the cartel. And if you're a cartel boss, that's a big advantage. There are other pluses too. Children are easier to manipulate. Flaco, 15, another child hitman, is under no illusions.
An adult will think twice. They're offered a certain amount and it'll seem like nothing to them. They're more aware, they catch on faster, but when you're a kid and someone says, I'll pay you 5,000 pesos, it seems like a ton. So they rope us in easily.
The cartels don't need to trap children. Experts, law officials and recruits told us. They come to them. It's about the money. Flaco says he earns about $200 a week, $650 extra for a hit. A big deal for him. But it's also about belonging. Many come from broken homes, have lost their parents. Flacos are in prison. Güeros are dead. His dad was a cartel leader till he was killed.
I wanted revenge, to find the man who did this to my dad and kill him. I still feel it now.
The victims later become the victimizers. Mix knows. An ex-teenage gangster with the bullet scars to prove it. He now teaches at-risk youth. He says the only way to rescue more children is a nationwide plan to catch them before the gangs do.
These children and adolescents need sports facilities, art programs. We need to bet on giving them those things. Going to the zones where crime is mobilizing and taking back those spaces, those parks. But we need civil society, the schools, families, the government for that. We need them all.
The Mexican government is making the same noises, but so far it hasn't come up with a unified, focused plan to help children avoid or escape the country's cartels. Despite Mexico's leading child protection coalition estimating that between 250,000 to 400,000 children are at risk of joining them. Meanwhile, Güero and Flaco say it's already too late for them.
I don't see a long future ahead for me because of all the things I've done. I don't feel anything anymore. I feel like if I die, I'll be with my family.
The years they expect to live can be counted on one hand. 14 years old, and death is the only hope he sees in front of him. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Juarez, Mexico.
In Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says any deal to end the war with Russia needs to strengthen his country, not weaken it. Al Jazeera's Rory Chadlands reports.
There's a sense of gloom on the streets of Kiev right now, and it's not just the army's difficulties at the front, a major domestic corruption scandal, and strictly rationed electricity because of Russian strikes on the power grid. It's also the feeling among people that once again, Ukraine's allies and enemies are trying to dictate their country's future.
Trump's special plan is, in general, a capitulation for Ukraine. I don't think the Ukrainian people will agree.
I don't believe there will be a lasting peace after these negotiations, because there is a side that cannot be trusted.
There have been so many of these agreements, but no results. I don't believe in it.
Ukraine's leadership is more positive. President Volodymyr Zelensky's right-hand man, Andrei Yermak, travelled to Geneva on Sunday to thrash out changes to Washington's 28-point peace plan with the US Secretary of State and the Europeans. Details aren't known yet, but Washington and Kiev said in a joint statement they had drafted a refined peace framework.
We've managed to keep extremely sensitive points on the table, including the full release of all Ukrainian prisoners of war under the all for all formula, and civilians, and the complete return of Ukrainian children abducted by Russia. These are important steps, but to achieve real peace, more is needed.
This is a high-stakes moment in the trajectory of the war. Highlighting this, Europe's leaders held an informal meeting about Ukraine on the sidelines of an EU-African Union summit in Angola. Borders cannot be changed by force, they insist, and making Ukraine do this would be rewarding Russian aggression.
Ukraine's territory and sovereignty must be respected. Only Ukraine, as a sovereign country, can make decisions regarding its armed forces. The choice of their destiny is in their own hands.
Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities are unrelenting. This was Kharkiv on Monday.
We don't believe in peace negotiations, because while they sit at negotiating table with a pen, we are hit by missiles and bombs. People die.
US President Donald Trump says Ukraine has until Thursday to decide on the deal. There's an undeniable sense of déjà vu here. Back in August, after the Putin-Trump summit in Alaska, Ukraine's government, together with European allies, mobilized to try to put the brakes on a deal they felt was essentially a Kremlin wish list. Zelensky's tactic then, as now, was to work with the deal, try to change it more to Ukraine's liking, and so that if it falls apart, it's because of Vladimir Putin, not him. And Donald Trump sees Russia as being the enemy of peace. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera, Kiev.
The Somali capital, Mogadishu, shows signs of recovery with busy streets that were once deserted. Al Jazeera Catherine Soil reports.
Ali Abdullahi Mahmoud shows us his Mogadishu. He was only 15 years old when he lost a leg in a bombing back in 2009. Today he runs a gym on one of the busiest streets of the Somali capital, a place that used to be nearly empty.
I would never leave Mogadishu. There was a time when walking along Makkah al-Mukarramah street was a matter of life and death. But in the past 15 years, Mogadishu has changed. Businesses, security, even social life.
There are police checks like this at every major entry to the city. Al-Shabaab no longer has a hold here, but its presence is still tangible. Abdikani Sahonso commands several of the checkpoints. He says every vehicle must be cleared before it enters.
Whether it's a tuk-tuk, motorcycle, small car or lorry, 3 officers must inspect it. One checks it physically, another uses a digital tablet to record the details.
The threat is always there. Recent incidents include a suicide bombing earlier this month, a prison break in October, and an attack on a presidential convoy in March.
3 years ago, you couldn't come here because the situation was very dangerous, but things have significantly improved. But Al-Shabaab is still able to carry out attacks here in the city and other parts of the country.
Some people argue those living in the green zone, the most heavily protected part of Mogadishu, live in a bubble. So we travel to the outskirts to hear from those outside the security cordon. Marian Abdi says her biggest concern right now is putting food on the table.
I live with my children and my mother who is blind. I take care of everything. My shop is small. I want it to grow, but I need more capital, which I don't have.
People living both in and outside the green zone say they are under no illusions that everything is fine, but many feel they can finally breathe a little more easily. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Mogadishu.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to be True Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.